The Cleefer. I can't believe the people in this town are paranoid enough to believe in this thing called the Cleefer. I mean, me being the town hunter, I'm the one who has to deal with this crap. I'm in my trailer. It's still daytime. I'm cleaning out my shotgun barrel and mocking these people's stupid cries over some rumored Cleefer. Basically, a man named, Andy Trog or something came into my office one night with a paper that had a sketch drawing of this peculiar furball, except not the kind of cute little puppy furball. I mean, this drawing was actually kind of creepy. The explicit detail gives me some thought that it might be real, but I think that's pretty damn stupid. To be 100% honest, I hope I see something exciting. Eventually this job gets boring. Back to the drawing. This thing had 5-foot arms that were bent in front of him. His eyes were colored in red. He, of course, as I said, had a skin of black fur on his back. His skin was colored in gray. It had no ears or nose. Its mouth seemed like it was sewn shut. Its face had no emotion. Its arms didn't seem to flop. They were bent to the pointy elbows. Now, this man suggested I take a few friends, but why take anyone to see something that doesn't exist? Anyway, right now I'm just cleaning out my barrel. I'm waiting for the sun to set. I look over at the clock and it's 5:30. The sunlight in this town typically leaves around 6. 30 more minutes of waiting and we should be good. 34 minutes later. I look out the window. I see the moon hanging over the forest, casting the tree silhouettes to be visual. Creepy setting, because of course this thing only comes out at night. Ridiculous. In my cabin, the light is on. I grab a flashlight, a pistol, and some duct tape. I duct tape the flashlight onto the top of the gun and flip the switch, and now I have a pistol that shines a light. I take one final glance at the sketch, and I shake my head disapprovingly. I sigh. I open the door and take 3 steps down the iron stairs on the trailer. I point my gun into the woods, causing the light circle to show a path in the trees. I walk towards it and enter the path. I look around and see nothing. What else could I expect? I sigh once again and try to enjoy this, but I can't. I can't enjoy walking through the forest in the night. It's ridiculous. I simply don't get it. Suddenly, a non-human distorted screech echoes through the forest. At first I try to safely assume it's a wolf, but then my mind forces me to clearly remember that a wolf howl sounds like, and that was no wolf howl. Maybe it was a wolf in pain. I tried so hard to convince myself. I knew that wasn't true either. It just felt good to think. Suddenly I heard the howl again, but closer. I knew then again, but even closer. Then closer. Then they stopped. He's standing right there. Should I stalk him for longer? I hear directly behind me. I turn around and my flashlight shows 2 separated long arms touching the ground. I look up with my light so I can see what the arms are connected to, and there it is. The thing the guide sketched. It had veins pulsing out from everywhere and its red eyes. Its 2 sewn together lips wiggled as he said, "He sees me." I opened my mouth to scream, but my voice wouldn't do it, so I fired a bullet into his skin, and it penetrated through a couple layers, but then he used his hands to reach into his wound. No emotion. And he grabbed the bullet. His 11-foot arms were holding his body in the air. He used one of his arms to twist his head all the way around. He cracked his neck from one side to another. He got on his legs and hands and began chasing me. I darted away as fast as I could run. I ran and ran. My heart was beating so fast. I was breathing so hard it hurt. I turned around and watched him run at me by putting his 2 arms in front of him, grabbing the soily dirt and flinging himself in the air repetitively. I was so scared. Suddenly I saw one of his arms directly next to me, and then I watched him as he flew directly over my head. I stopped and my foot dug into the dirt, causing some dirt to fly into my eyes. Damn it, now I can't see. I couldn't let that stop me, so I ran the other way with my eyes closed. Rubbing them, I opened my eyes, and the first thing I saw in my light was a cave, so I sped towards it and hid. I dug my way through the shining rocks. I was breathing so hard. In the rocks, I closed my eyes for a good 5 seconds. I took 3 deep breaths I shone the light on my face to vibrate light out across the cave walls. I was so happy that I had lost him that I started giggling. My giggle got so speracious. Suddenly I heard footsteps coming from outside. I pinned my hand over my lips and my eyes widened. I can't see it, the calm voice of the Cleefer said. I smiled and crossed my fingers. I will smell it. My eyes widened and I stayed silent. I heard the noise of sniffling. Not behind this tree, but in this cave, I heard the Cleefer say. From what my light shone, he wasn't in here, but my light's range didn't even reach out to the cave. I was so scared I couldn't help but cry. As I was covering my mouth, tears dripped from my eyes and trickled across my fingers. I looked into my light when suddenly an arm flew into my light, followed by the Cleefer fleeing directly at me. News report. The next day a hunter was found in the forest, dead, crawling with flies and no head.